What's up everyone, it's Alex, answering viewer questions again. Let's go. So I had a question this morning in my messages from a viewer. Now, this is Matt. Matt says, thinking about picking up a bobbed out 84 Virago 1100, what are your thoughts on that bike? So let's get into that real quick. First off, 84 Virago 1100, there's nothing particularly wrong with those bikes. Virago 1100s were just fine. It is a bike from the 80s, so it's going to be getting a little bit long in the tooth at this point. Like, you know, that's a 35-year-old motorcycle at this point, something like that. So that being said, even the best of motorcycles, when they get to that age, they're going to require more maintenance. They're going to require some repairs here and there. Stuff's just getting old, okay? Parts wear out, seals get old, things just get old. They're going to need a little bit more maintenance. Other than that, 84 Virago 1100, there's nothing inherently wrong with that motorcycle. Perfectly fine. They're a little on the heavy side, but a lot of bikes from that day are a little on the heavy side, okay? So as far as just in general terms, there's nothing particularly wrong with a Virago 1100. That being said, what I want to get into more than that in this discussion, and good news, if you like hearing me talk, then this is a great video for you. If you don't like hearing me talk, then I'm really not sure what you're doing here anyway. But what I want to discuss is the concept of custom motorcycles in general, especially older classic custom motorcycles. We're talking bobbers, we're talking cafe style custom jobs, we're talking choppers. Anytime you take, especially in older, but anytime you take a motorcycle and you fairly heavily modify it, what I mean by that is you're not just changing an exhaust or you're not just changing handlebars. You're pretty heavily modifying a motorcycle, like doing a bobber build or a chopper or a cafe build. You are inherently changing a lot of the nature of that motorcycle. What that means is you are now no longer dealing with, in this case, an 84 Virago 1100. You are now dealing with what is pretty much a one-off custom motorcycle. Yeah, it might be a bobber style, it might be like a lot of other bobbers, but you are now dealing with a motorcycle that is its own unique, interesting animal. So that means if you're going to get into bobbers, choppers, cafe bikes, any kind of custom motorcycles, which I highly recommend. If you're a motorcycle enthusiast, I love custom motorcycles. I've done cafe builds, I've done bobber builds, I've done all that kind of stuff. I absolutely love them. I think it's one of the best things you can get into as a hobby for a motorcycle enthusiast is doing custom motorcycles or buying and riding custom motorcycles. I think that's freaking great. What you need to understand when you get into that is you need to basically become an expert on that particular motorcycle. In this case, you might be starting with an 84 Virago 1100, and you can do your research and make sure that it's not a motorcycle that just started with an inherently flawed motor or something. Like, mechanically, do your research and check up and make sure that it mechanically was a solid motorcycle to begin with. But now you are dealing with a unique one-off motorcycle, so you need to become the expert on all the ins and outs of that particular custom bobber, in this case, whatever it may be. So you need to learn it, you need to learn how to maintain it. I think you need to learn how to work on it. You need to get manuals for the original motorcycle, so at least if you need to get into the motor, you can. If you're not mechanically inclined at all, I think custom motorcycles are going to be a tough thing. You can pay someone else to work on it, repair it, and maintain it for you, but where's the fun in that? I don't think that's anywhere near as much fun as learning and becoming an expert on your motorcycle, your custom motorcycle. Like, I know everything about this motorcycle, so if something goes wrong or something needs maintaining, I can work on it. Perfect case in point. I had my CB500 for a long time, my CB500-4. I built that thing from the ground up as a cafe bike. When I got it, it was all just in a bunch of boxes. I had to build it. So in doing so, I knew that motorcycle from top to bottom. So if something went wrong with it, which it often did because it's a motorcycle from the 70s, I could fix it. So if you're going to get into bobbers, cafe bikes, choppers, whatever it is, I think that's awesome. I think it's a great hobby for motorcycle enthusiasts. Yes, I'm repeating myself a little bit on that, but, you know, whatever. I do what I want. I think it's a great thing to get into. Just understand it's going to be a little bit more maintenance intensive than riding a modern bike or riding a bike that hasn't been modified. You're going to have a little bit more maintenance involved, typically. You're probably going to be repairing things here and there. If you're actually going to ride it and enjoy it, you're probably going to be repairing it every once in a while, but I think the enjoyment of owning it, riding it, and having something that cool and that unique way outweighs the downsides of having to maintain and having to repair it all the time. So I think it's great. I think the 84 Virago 1100 sounds like a great platform for a bobber. I've done bobbers off of 80s like GS 850s and stuff and other things. And your 70s and 80s bikes do usually make great platforms for bobbers and cafe bikes and stuff. So the one you're looking at, just make sure it's in good mechanical shape to begin with. And I think be willing to learn what you need to learn about that very specific motorcycle so that you can do the work yourself and it can be your hobby and you can maintain it. If you want to pay someone to do it, that's up to you. That's fine. It's probably not going to be cheap, but all things being said, I think that your Virago 1100 bobber, I think that's a great idea. I don't think it's a good first motorcycle. I think probably that's a second, third, fourth. I think that's not a good first motorcycle because there's just, with your first motorcycle, you want something nice and easy you can just ride and enjoy and learn and not have to ever worry about. But if it's not your first motorcycle, great idea as long as you're not way overpaying for it. Learn the motorcycle, love it, enjoy it, make it yours, do your thing, okay? I'm Alex, peace.